All right, let's talk Austin real estate. We're going to do a deep dive into what's happening right now as of the week of November 10, 2025. After years of just insane headlines and crazy bidding wars, there's really only one question on everyone's mind.
Right? Is this the moment so many people have been waiting for? Has the market finally, and I mean truly, cooled down? It's the question that keeps buyers and sellers up at night for sure.
Well, the data's in, and the answer is a big, resounding yes. The power has officially shifted. So if you're a buyer, you can take a deep breath. Your time has finally arrived.
Okay, so let's get into what this actually means. What we're seeing isn't a crash. Instead, local experts are calling it a post-boom stabilization. Think of it less like a total collapse and more like the market just catching its breath after an absolute marathon sprint. It's a whole new phase, and we're going to break down exactly what that means for you.
But hey, you don't have to take my word for it. The numbers, well, they tell the whole story. We're about to look at the hard data that proves, without a doubt, that buyers are now in the driver's seat. And it all starts with one crucial metric.
This number right here, 5.6 months. This is the key to understanding absolutely everything that's happening. This is the current housing supply in the Austin metro area. But what does that actually mean?
So here's the deal. Months of supply basically tells us how long it would take to sell every single home that's for sale right now if nothing new hit the market. And the magic number is 4 months. Anything above that, and the market officially flips to favor buyers. And well, we are way past that threshold.
And this chart just lays it all out, doesn't it? It wasn't that long ago, during that peak frenzy, that Austin had less than 2 months of supply. Bidding wars were just a given. Today, at 5.6 months, the inventory has nearly tripled. That means more choices, way less competition, and a whole lot more power for buyers.
And it's not just the inventory, right? All the other signs are pointing in the same direction. We're seeing prices finally soften a bit. Homes are sitting on the market for much longer. And look at this, more than half of sellers are cutting their prices. These are all classic textbook signs that sellers have to work harder, which confirms that power has moved firmly into the buyer's court.
But here's where the story gets really interesting. You gotta remember, Austin isn't just one single market. It's a huge collection of really diverse areas. So let's zoom in and break it down county by county to see where the real opportunities might be hiding.
And the range is, well, it's dramatic. In Travis County, which is the urban core, the median price is still a pretty hefty $550,000. But if you head out to Caldwell County, that price plummets to just over $300,000. That's a $250,000 difference. It just shows how varied the options are across the metro.
This table really gives us the full picture. You can see Travis County prices are down 6% year over year. But now, look over at Bastrop County. Its inventory is the highest in the entire region at a massive 7.5 months. That just screams opportunity for buyers willing to look a bit further east. On the other hand, you can see Hays and Williamson counties have the lowest inventory, which means things are still a little more competitive there.
Okay, so we've seen the data. We know it's a buyer's market. So now for the big question, what do you actually do about it? Let's get into the practical, actionable advice for anyone who's thinking about making a move.
All right, buyers, listen up. This is your moment. This is your playbook. Don't be afraid to negotiate. With homes sitting longer, sellers are way more willing to talk price and maybe even cover some repair costs. Like we just saw that data points to the exurbs, places like Bastrop, for some serious value. Oh, and with new construction, builders are throwing out huge incentives to move their inventory. The bottom line here is simple. Patience is your greatest asset. Time is finally on your side.
Now for sellers, it's a completely different ballgame. The key is to be realistic and strategic. You have to price your home correctly from day one. Overpricing is like the kiss of death in this market. Offering incentives can make your home so much more attractive than the one down the street. And you've got to be mentally prepared to come down maybe 5 to 10% from your list price. It's all about making your property the most compelling option out there.
All right, let's wrap this all up by looking ahead. Let's pull out the crystal ball for a second. The current market is pretty clear, but what does the near future hold? Well, the experts are weighing in, and their predictions give us a really fascinating glimpse of what might be coming.
Now check this out. This is a pretty powerful forecast from Realtor.com. They're predicting a nearly 15% jump in the number of homes sold next year. This suggests that the current slowdown might be creating some serious pent-up demand. And as soon as conditions feel right, the market could see a huge rebound in activity.
But it's never that simple, is it? There are really two competing views of the future.
The bull case is that Austin's fundamental strengths, we're talking its awesome job market, the constant population growth, will lead to steady, long-term appreciation. The bear case, though, warns that if affordability stays a major issue, we could see values dip a little bit more before they really find a bottom. The whole future really hinges on that balance.
So here's the crucial takeaway from all of this. For the first time in years, the Austin market is rewarding patience. For buyers, it's the patience to wait for the right home at the right price. For sellers, it's the patience to navigate a market that demands a lot more strategy. The opportunities are definitely there for those who are listening closely to what all this data is telling them. The only question left is, are you?